President Erdogan will be contesting an election this summer for another term in office. But right now, he's fighting more than the domestic opposition. Erdogan is pitted against his NATO partners, and the differences are turning into disputes. 9 countries have shut their diplomatic missions in Turkey. Plus, they've issued security alerts to their citizens. This is in response to the Quran burning incidents in Europe last week. Copies of the Quran were burnt in Denmark, Sweden, and the Netherlands. In one instance, this happened outside the Turkish embassy. Now, European diplomats fear reprisals and violent reprisals, so they've issued advisories. And Turkey is not happy about any of this. Last Thursday, it summoned the ambassadors of 9 countries. Among them were the US, Germany, France, and the Netherlands. Turkey has called their security alerts, quote-unquote, irresponsible statements. Turkey's interior minister has spoken. He says the West is launching a, quote-unquote, psychological war against his country. And remember, Turkey is a NATO member. These countries should technically be its allies. So why are they at odds? A, because Erdogan is playing hardball, he is blocking NATO expansion, and B, because he's helping Russia. New data has come out. It shows the extent of support Turkey is giving to the Russian war machine. And before we share the details, here's a question we want to ask you. How is Russia fighting this war? It has been sanctioned left, right, and center. The West has been trying to cripple its economy and military, yet Russia keeps manufacturing arms and ammunition, and it keeps bombarding Ukraine. In fact, Russia's economy is expected to do better than Britain's. How are they doing that? The answer lies in Russia's customs data. It shows which countries have been buying and selling goods to and from Russia, and what kind of goods. Now, some of it you already know, like India and China are buying Russian oil. Iran is providing kamikaze drones. China is supplying everything from navigation equipment and jamming technology to fighter jet parts. China has rejected Western sanctions, saying they have no basis in international law. Now, China talking about the law is a bit rich, but for once, they may have a point. So China, Iran, India, they're engaging with Russia. Do you know which other country is on this list? Turkey. And this is particularly upsetting for the West, again, because Turkey is a NATO member and should not be helping a NATO enemy country, that is Russia. But how has Turkey helped Russia? Between March and October last year, Turkey exported millions of dollars worth of dual-use goods. Now, what exactly are dual-use goods? Goods that can be used for multiple purposes, military and non-military, something like rubber and plastic. Both obviously have civilian uses, rubber and plastic, but the military needs them too. Russia needs rubber to make plates that protect its T-80 battle tanks. And certain plastics are needed to make tanks, ships, body armor, and helmets. So these are dual use. They're also banned under the sanctions regime. But Turkey was selling them to Russia. It also exported other banned items like machinery, electronics, spare parts, and vehicles. Reports say at least 13 Turkish companies sent goods to 10 sanctioned Russian firms. The exports were worth more than $33 million. A large chunk of these were American-made goods. And this is a direct violation of US export controls. How did Turkey get away with this? Because it worked with both sides. Turkey shares good relations with both Moscow and Kiev. Remember, it brokered a deal last year, the grain export deal between Russia and Ukraine. Turkey was at the center of it. Turkey is supplying weapons to Ukraine, like the Bayraktar drones, and it remains in Russia's good books. Turkey says it's not following American sanctions on Russia. It is only enforcing the United Nations sanctions, and that doesn't really amount to very much because Russia can always veto sanctions at the UN. So Turkey is giving its NATO partners a hard time. Needless to say, they're upset. The US has been mounting pressure. Last week, America dispatched a top diplomat to Turkey, a full team, in fact. They asked Turkey to cooperate with the sanctions and followed it up with a warning. Turkey could lose access to G7 markets, they said. What was Turkey's response? Well, it has relented on some fronts, like servicing aircraft. The West bans the service of American-made aircraft in Russia and Belarus. Turkey will now follow this ban. Its largest airport ground service provider has written to Moscow and Minsk. The Americans shot out warnings to the UAE and Oman as well. They're trying to squeeze Russia from all sides, but sanctions, we know, have always had limited success. And with partners like Turkey, closing all loopholes may be impossible.